The day after 9/11 happened, I was doing an interview. And the guy asked me what I thought we should do. And of course, the country was scared and was very bloodthirsty. And I said, we need to go over and talk to those folks. And the DJ just went nuts. You must be crazy. There's no reason to talk to those type of people. What type of people? The same type of people you are? A human being? There's no reason to talk to a human being? Every scrape that I've ever got out of with dignity was through conversation. Never through me swatting anybody. Dan, swatting a kid on the playground doesn't work. But it's okay to go in and bomb a country just because we don't like them.
But you do understand, John, that when you say these things, and say them with the kind of passion that comes from within you, any number of people say, you see, I told you, John Mellencamp is a hopeless, way-out liberal, anti-war, soft-on-terrorism guy.
Soft-on-terrorism. Soft-on-terrorism, that is the biggest bunch of hooey I've ever... How are you going to be tough on terrorism? We're tough now, aren't we? We're going to go over and just knock the hell out of you. We're going to put a boot in their ass. It's not going to work. Being tough on terrorism is being man enough to walk up and say, okay, what are we doing here? How are we going to solve this? Because me killing you and you killing me is not really working for either side, but it's working better for them than it is for us. Because we as Americans, sooner or later, are going to go, hey, just like we have now, we don't want this. Now that the fire in our gut has kind of diminished and that the bloodthirstiness that we all had, and I understand, I understand how people were scared and wanting to get even. But Dan, those feelings don't even work in your private life. Your wife does something you don't like. Is your solution to be revengeful? If it is, you're not going to be married very long. It's not going to work. But why, as countries, we think this is the right way? War is not the answer. We have got to talk to people, even if we don't like them. You want to stop the war, you want to stop terrorism, let's take care of ourselves. Let's lead with being good examples to the rest of the world. Talk to the leaders. See how we can facilitate people working together, and all of that will diminish.
And if people who really care about you, people who love you, care about your career, were to come in now and say, John, cool it down. That kind of talk doesn't sell records. That kind of talk doesn't help your image.
Listen, I never, ever let my beliefs get in the fact that I may or may not sell another record. I'd like to sell records, but I'm not going to roll over and be a patsy for somebody if I do or I don't. Because ultimately and finally, I have to report to me. And the way I feel about it is, if I never sell another record, well, so be it. But if I have the opportunity to sit with you and say that war is not the answer, then I'm going to say that, if given that opportunity. And I don't understand why, there's the problem with me, is I don't understand why everybody in the world doesn't believe that.
You put the music behind the new Chevrolet truck commercials. Mm-hmm. Very successful commercial. Mm-hmm. But in years previous to that, you'd said, I don't do that kind of work.
I still don't think you should have to do that. But, I'm old school, man, and that's what I think. But I also am smart enough to look around and go, if I want these songs heard, then I'm going to have to change my way of thinking. If not, then I can just live with the fact that I write a song like Our Country and nobody will hear it. And I asked the guy from Chevrolet, I said, how much you guys going to play this thing? And he said, more than any #1 record you've ever had. And I laughed. And I thought, yeah, right. He wasn't kidding. I walk down the streets in New York and people go, this is our country. I love that song, John. And of course, there are the hardcore people who say, Mellencamp sold out, that he shouldn't have done that. But this is the way the music business is today. If you want your songs heard, you have to take alternative routes. If you're not prepared to take alternative routes, then, okay, you can make records and nobody's going to hear it. That's up to you. I want people to hear the songs. What's the point? We made a commercial that looked like a John Mellencamp video. You know, we had Rosa Parks in it. We had Martin Luther King in it. The community of people who sell things said, you can't sell things with negative advertisement.
Well, there would have been a legitimate argument to make, whether it turned out to be valid or not. You don't want to show the results of Katrina. It's bad news. It's negative, and we're in the business of selling trucks.
Well, and, you know, they had to grapple with that, but I wanted them to show it. I said, you know, listen, this is our country. This is what we're doing. This is what the song's about. So if you're going to show the good, you got to show the bad. And they said, okay. And they did it, you know, and like, you know, your point's well taken. In their community, that's not the way you sell trucks, but it's been the most successful truck campaign they've ever had.
Well, I can stand beside ideals I think are right, and I can stand beside the idea to stand and fight. I do believe that's a dream for everyone. This is our country.
Well, you say you're a hypochondriac and you worry about your health, but you smoke.
Not the damnedest thing. That's the one thing I do well. I don't want to mess with that.
How many times you tried to quit?
I had a heart attack when I was 42, and I tried to quit after that. But then I've just accepted that I'm a confirmed smoker. I've got millions of people who's tried to. John Cash tried to help me stop smoking, and I just kind of have accepted I'm a confirmed smoker. And you know, as cavalier and as stupid as it sounds, I just don't let the chips fall where they do.